AI is everywhere nowadays. You just can't escape it. But have you ever wondered how it can help your pro wrestling career? You can use it in a lot of ways. Maybe get some promo inspiration, help you craft a character, or even help you design your next set of pro wrestling gear. Welcome back, champions, to the podcast of champions. Renee, Hawk Mom here, back and ready to talk to you guys about pro wrestling gear again today. For those of you that know me, I am the Hawk Mom here at the House of Champions, the marketing coach, and also the lovely wife to Mr. Jamie Stanley. Jamie Stanley will probably be mentioned a lot during this podcast episode because he loves his pro wrestling gear, just like all of the rest of the pro wrestlers I know. They love gear. They want more gear. They can't afford gear. Poet and didn't even know it. But lucky for him, his lovely wife, me, took it upon myself about, I want to say 2 years ago now, to spend a lot of time on YouTube University learning how to sew, because since he loves gear so much, it was getting pretty pricey. We happened to have our second child at that time. I was on maternity leave. We hadn't opened the House of Champions yet, so I had a little bit of time on my hands. So I decided, okay, there's no better time than now. Let's sit down. Let's learn how to sew. He actually bought me this as a gift, this sewing machine, not like a little hint, honey. Make me some pro wrestling gear. It probably took me about a good 2 to 3 weeks to really get a good grasp on what I was doing. It took 1 to 2 sets to get to the point where he would actually be able to wear it in the ring. The first set, not wearable. Second set, I believe he wore it, actually. And then every set on just kept getting better and better. So now I officially make his gear. Only him. Please don't reach out, because there are many other gear makers that are amazing and are totally worth the money. So I'm his exclusive gear maker, but I'm happy to share some of my tricks and secrets and just inside tips on what you should be thinking about and ways that you can create your gear and how you should start thinking about it. So that's what I want to talk about today, is the latest piece that I believe you can see behind me that I created for him, this jacket. This is the first jacket I ever made. So a little background, I have only ever made his trunks and his knee pads and some elbow pad covers. I think I made 1 pair of kick pads, not my favorite thing to make. I'm thankful he doesn't wear kick pads. But trunks are really my specialty. So when he came to me and said, honey, I want a jacket, I was like, we're paying for that. There's no way that I'm going to be making that. Good luck. I'll reach out and see. Well, luck would have it, we decided to have a third baby, and he wants a jacket. So I'm back to square one, and let's figure out how to do this. So I want to run you through how I did this process, mainly how I started the process, because I think this will be really helpful for a lot of you in getting inspiration. So when we decided he wanted a jacket, I was like, well, I'm not quite sure what it should look like. I wasn't even quite sure where to start. We know his character, and there's a lot of good jacket inspirations that we could have pulled from on the current roster or past jackets that have been worn, but we wanted something unique and different. And I can create and sew, but the actual designing, it's really just not my specialty. So I needed a little bit of help. I needed some inspiration to help me get there. So this is where AI comes in. I've been using AI from a text perspective for a while now as a business owner. Sometimes it helps me write copy for social media posts. Sometimes it helps me write descriptions, or paragraphs when I don't have time to sit down and write them. It can help me pump it out quick. But recently we came across a very neat AI generator for graphics. And I'm like, you know what? Let's play around with this a little bit. And I started putting in prompts on pro wrestling jackets that give off this sort of vibe. And to be honest, it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. The original design that we ended up going off, we'll put it on the screen right now, ended up looking like this. And the trick to getting this design to where we wanted it to be is really on the prompt. So when you go into your AI generator, just start playing around. You start typing in I want a pro wrestling jacket that gives off the vibe that is cocky for that dude, wrestler Jamie Stanley. I want it to be black and gold that conveys royalty, and then see what it gives you. I believe that's pretty close to my first prompt that I put in. We'll show a few other original designs that came up as well. I didn't like some of the first ones, so then we just kept playing. I was like, okay, well, this prompt gave me this. It's not cocky enough, or it's not royal enough. So you start changing the prompt a little bit and getting it to ultimately where you like it. Now you can see in this picture, this is not what I ended up producing. We changed it a little bit. You're like, well, I like this part, but not this part. But that's the whole point. And that's how I would encourage you guys to use AI, is use it as inspiration. Don't use it as a final output. Use it as something that's going to spark ideas in your mind. So that's how we use this. This is where we started on this picture. Disregard the very strange gear that came with it. We were strictly looking for a jacket here. So we took this picture and decided, okay, this is our starting point. Now, I've never made a jacket. So what's the next step? I have the templates for my trunks. I know how to do that. I also don't have this exact jacket template. I'm going to have to create it. And let's be honest, guys, I'm not a sewer. Like, I'm not an expert at this. I am a self-taught YouTube University student. So I started thinking, how do I find a template that I can use for a jacket that doesn't exist? And I had a friend at the HOC actually tell me, you know what, you should find a Halloween template at Joann Fabrics and start there and customize it accordingly. So that's exactly what I did. I went on Amazon and I ended up finding a jacket, and we can put the link to this in the show notes as well. But it's a Mikhail's Costumes jacket, and it's a really long trench coat. And I picked this one because it had the lines I wanted and the seams that I wanted to portray in the front and in the back. It had the flaps that I wanted in the front, and then it had the they're all numbered, and there's a very, very long instruction guide in here that will tell you exactly how to sew this together. The most difficult part is the measuring. So once you get that down, putting this together is a piece of cake. There's seam lines. You simply just match the shapes, follow the numbers, and then sew them together. Now, it is a little bit tougher than that. Truth be told, it's not as simple as that, but if you can read and spend some time and put a little time investment into some YouTube videos on how to actually read these, it's not that difficult. So find a template that is close to the design that you're going for after AI produced it, and then customize it accordingly. The jacket specifically, what we did for Jamie was I did exactly as the template said, and I had him put it on. And then after he had it on, I was like, okay, the armholes aren't as low as I want them. So then I cut them while it was on him to where I wanted it. Okay, it's a little too long. Let's customize the template. I want it a little bit shorter in the front, flowing down into the back. So I cut it while he was on, and then I sewed it together. I'm not going to lie. That it does take a lot of time and effort into learning how to sew it. I'm going to tell you, though, that's not what I'm here to really impart on you today. Is it does not take a lot of time and effort to put a prompt in AI to get some inspiration and get you going on your gear design. And then ultimately you can reach out to a professional gear maker. One of our friends that is close, that lives pretty close to us, that makes some of our students gear, is named JCJ Gear. He's on Instagram. We think he does great work. We'll put his link in the show notes as well if you're interested in getting some gear made. He's local to Central Florida and makes some really great stuff. And he helped me with a few pointers on the jacket as well. So I'm pretty excited with how it turned out. I can't wait to see that dude in the ring. I'm sure he's going to want like 10 more, so you'll probably see various color variations. First we started with black and gold. I'm not making 10 more, spoiler alert, greedy husband not happening. But you'll probably see a few more. So again, have fun creating. AI produces, it's a little addicting. It produces a lot of ideas. So just have fun brainstorming, fam. Go mad.